Less than 24 hours from Election Day, and already thousands have cast their votes in Dane County. We compare this year's early numbers to past elections.
Also getting involved in the election process. A look at the increase in poll watchers for tomorrow's election. And
later, how Beloit College is making it easier for their students to vote and not miss any classes. Welcome to News 3 Now at 6. Election Day may be tomorrow, but millions of Americans have already cast their ballots. According to data from elections officials, Edison Research and Catalyst, more than 41 million pre-election ballots have been cast across some 47 states. Still too early to know, however, if overall turnout will reach 2018 levels since voting patterns have changed over the past few years. Now, in Wisconsin, that early voting is now closed.
About 750,000 people have cast their vote early. Naomi Coles breaks down those results for us here in Dane County. Naomi?
Just under 1 in 3 registered voters in Dane County have already voted, and that's a sharp decrease from 2020, when 2 out of 3 registered voters cast their ballot before Election Day. Now, some context here. There's less concern about the pandemic now than in 2020, meaning more people may plan to vote in person tomorrow. Plus, midterm turnout is traditionally lower than general elections, albeit in Dane County, turnout in 2018's midterm was only 1 percentage point less than their 2020 turnout. Around Wisconsin, several other counties have cast tens of thousands of votes early. In blue-leaning Milwaukee County, almost 1 in 4 registered voters have cast their ballot so far. In red-leaning Waukesha County, the 3rd largest in the state, 27% of registered voters have already voted. And in battleground Kenosha County, about 1 in 5 registered voters have cast their ballot early. All night tomorrow, I'll be monitoring results like these throughout Wisconsin and explaining the role that key counties will play in political victories as those results come in throughout the night.
All right, Naomi, thank you very much.
Oh, there will be a lot of people helping make sure things go smoothly at the polls tomorrow. Some of them will be state officials and others volunteers stepping up to get engaged in the electoral process.
Tahlil Modine spoke with county leaders about the role that poll watchers will play tomorrow, and she joins us live to share what they'll be on the lookout for and the rules they'll have to follow. Tahlil?
In just a few hours, this polling location will be filled with people voting on Election Day. But it will also welcome people choosing to exercise a different right, to get a look behind the scenes. As part of a free and open process.
We even have, I know in town right now, there's international observers that are going to be in the polls.
Dane County, just like everywhere in the state, is ready for poll watchers to appear at sites tomorrow.
The key is they cannot interact with voters. So, you know, they can observe, they can ask a question or point something out to the chief inspector who's working and managing that poll.
A poll watcher only needs to check in with a valid photo ID, sign the log, and put on a badge. Dane County's clerk says poll watchers traditionally were so partisan groups could check to see if people who pledged to vote actually showed up.
It gets done more digitally now.
But lately, following unfounded claims of widespread voter fraud in the 2020 election, the focus has shifted.
They're following up on sort of the big lie that there's people voting who shouldn't be voting.
Dane County GOP Chairman Scott Graben says he's heard from a lot of people looking for transparency, interested in becoming poll workers.
Having individuals in the room observing the process, it just makes sure that everybody is following the process correctly.
He says that both parties have been preparing watchers to keep an eye out for proper day of registrations, absentee ballot counting, and voter ID checks.
That doesn't mean that you're always looking for something nefarious. It could be very simple. It could be honest mistakes.
McDonald says there are many more poll watchers this year than in years past.
They're very welcoming. They have a designated area where you can sit. And generally, I think it's a pretty kind of civil process.
Dane County GOP leaders say they've also seen a historic number of people sign up to volunteer as poll workers. Reporting live in Madison, Tahlil Muhaddin, News 3 Now.
Tahlil, thank you. The Department of Justice being proactive when it comes to protecting voters' rights. They're sending election monitors to almost half the states for tomorrow's elections. The monitors will include personnel from the DOJ's Civil Rights Division and from its U.S. Attorney's offices. It's a practice to protect voters that traces back to the 1965 Voting Rights Act.
Attorney General Josh Kaul is out canvassing today, one last time before Election Day. He arrived at Synergy Co-working in Madison, touting accomplishments and emphasizing the high-stakes implications implications of tomorrow's election. Call, along with Governor Evers, fought cases brought forth by Michael Gableman's GOP-backed investigation into the results of the 2020 presidential election. And with the potential announcement for former President Trump that he will be running again in 2024, Call stated it is more important than ever to have a trustworthy attorney general who does not reject legitimate election results.
Now, imagine if we had a Republican AG who supported Michael Gableman's investigation or who claimed that our election commissioners committed crimes and should be removed from office. And you don't actually have to be that imaginative, because that is my opponent, Eric Toney. We've got to have an AG who we can count on to protect our democracy, not somebody who thinks his job is to stand with Michael Gableman.
Call said the determining factor in the outcome of these elections is making sure people turn out to vote. Meanwhile, the candidates for governor and Senate continued their campaigns before tomorrow. Current Senator Ron Johnson continued his bus tour around the state, stopping in Stevens Point earlier today. His challenger, Mandela Barnes, was in Green Bay for a Get Out the Vote event. Barnes is looking to become Wisconsin's first black U.S. senator. And as for the governor's race, Governor Evers attended a canvas launch event in Milwaukee. There, he criticized his opponent, Republican Tim Michels, for being a climate change denier and Trump supporter. Meanwhile, Michels made a campaign stop in De Pere. There, he discussed a variety of subjects, including inflation, crime, and education.
And News 3 Now has everything you need to know about Election Day. Our live coverage starts tomorrow on News 3 Now this morning. It'll run through tomorrow night as the votes are being counted. You can also find more information on where to vote, what to bring with you to the polls. It's all at channel3000.com. Just click on the banner at the top of our homepage. And let's check on your Election Day forecast, your certified most accurate forecast with Julian Seawright.
Well, the good news is that once we get throughout the rest of tonight, even for tomorrow, it's going to stay rather quiet for us here in southern Wisconsin. But for tonight in itself, let's go ahead and look at what things are going to be panning out for us. We're already into the lower 40s for right now, and it's going to fall into the upper 30s over the next couple of hours. And throughout the rest of the night, we will start to see a stabilization into those mid-30s as skies will start to clear from any cloud cover as we head into the later parts of tonight. We're looking at 34 degrees to be where we're bottoming out here in Madison, but throughout much of Dane County, we'll be in the middle and upper 30s, especially towards Stoughton, which is going to look around 37 degrees for the low. But for the rest of southern Wisconsin, 38 degrees for Janesville, 36 in Plattsville, and areas just to the north where you can see they're going to be at the freezing point or colder from Black River Falls to Camp Douglas and to our friends in Wautoma. But as we take a look ahead, tomorrow will be rather fine for Election Day, but later in this week, we're going to be pretty much experiencing every single season. We're going to talk about the impacts and what you can expect in just a few moments coming up. Until then, back to you guys.
Julian, thank you. Squeezing a trip to the ballot box during the workday, it can be challenging.
That's why at Beloit College, they removed all barriers, canceling all classes on Election Day. Our Andrew Banstra is in the studio with that story.
Your college years are often your first chance to vote, and at Beloit College, they don't take that for granted. They made a heavy push to get their students to the polls, going so far as to cancel all classes on Election Day.
So we think about why bother Beloit not as being a day of canceling classes, but really a day in which they're learning about civic engagement in an entirely new way. So helping them understand why it's important for them to vote, why their vote really makes a difference, why it's a statement about the glory of democracy.
Beloit sees this as a transformative opportunity students will feel when they fill out their ballots. Other local schools, such as Madison College, held numerous events to get out the vote, but did not cancel classes. Students and faculty at Beloit College were thrilled about the day off. And even if you do work tomorrow, don't forget you can still register to vote on the spot.
When we come back, Madison Police determined if 2 homicides this year were justified.
Plus, the Madison Diocese looks to put its resources into a better position to serve people. The plan the diocese has come up with and how you can help.
Hy-Vee Red Hot deals are super hot this Monday through Thursday. Select Campbell's Soup, only 99 cents. Hy-Vee Midwest Pork Loin Chops, only 77 cents each. And Hy-Vee Cottage Cheese, only 77 cents. Scan the code, get deals, only at Hy-Vee.
At McGann Furniture and Flooring in Baraboo, we know that hardworking people want the most value for their money. At McGann's, we've already sorted out and selected the brands that we feel offer you the most bang for your buck. From young couples to senior citizens, we offer a huge selection at prices that will fit your budget. And remember, at McGann's, we don't raise prices only to lower them later for a sale. Discover the difference at McGann Furniture and Flooring, downtown Baraboo.
There will always be bumps in the road, but we got guts, America. We got freedom. We got power. We got future. So let's drive on and make the future we want to see together. Because your new Ford vehicle is just the start of a journey. So stop by your Ford dealer today and claim one of the thousands of new Ford trucks and SUVs on their way. We've been building this country for 119 years, but we're just getting started.
A 12-year-old girl can't legally drive a car. At 12, she can't even vote. But if this little girl were tragically raped or a victim of incest and became pregnant, radical Tim Michaels would force her to deliver the baby. He said it's, quote, not unreasonable for the state government to mandate rape victims to give birth. Would it be unreasonable if he were forcing this on you? Let him know on Election Day.
Hy-Vee Red Hot deals are super hot this Monday through Thursday. Hy-Vee frozen vegetables, only 77 cents. Extra laundry detergent, only 99 cents. And Granny Smith apples, only 68 cents a pound. Scan the code, get deals. Only at Hy-Vee.
Madison police say a homicide that happened in June this year was justified. On June 12th, officers were dispatched to the 5600 block of Black Onyx Drive around 5:30 a.m. for reports of a disturbance. Police discovered a 23-year-old man with chest wounds who was taken to a local hospital and pronounced dead. The person of interest was taken into custody that same day. Police are saying the victim and the person of interest were in a domestic relationship. Madison police also say an August stabbing that left a man dead on the city's east side was justified. It happened on August 12th in the 900 block of Mayfair Avenue. Police say they did not believe the stabbing was random. The stabbing was the 6th homicide recorded in Madison this year and happened on the same day as the 5th homicide, a shooting on Northport Drive. Those incidents were not related.
The Madison Diocese looking to bring more people into the church with a new consolidation plan called Into the Deep. The plan would organize 102 parishes into 29 pastorates or clusters of parishes, but more than one church building open.
So it's not shuttering 100 churches. It's reorganizing our parishes and then looking strategically at how we can better utilize our human resources, namely our priests, our lay leaders, and also our physical resources.
The plan is still a work in progress. The diocese taking comments and feedback now through mid-December. The final version of the plan will then go into effect next year. Still had time to check the fridge again. Nestle recalls one of its popular snack items.
Plus, a 4-year-old Wisconsin boy is honored for his bravery after his mom has a medical emergency.
And how's the weather looking for Election Day? Julian's back with a complete forecast after a short break.
Did you know Tim Michaels pledged to rig future elections?
Republicans will never lose another election in Wisconsin after I'm elected governor.
You tried to overthrow the will of the people. Is that the kind of divisive radical you want as governor?
For everything from simple dust protection to heavy-duty construction projects, Polar Plastics has a fitting solution. Use as a vapor barrier for insulation, a drop cloth, or even as a weather shield. Now just $6.99 after 11% rebate. Finish up your interior projects with DAP Quick Seal. Great for kitchens, counters, and baths, DAP provides the best durability and flexibility on the market and is now 11% off at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
It was Halloween. My daughter stopped at 3 homes, her girlfriend's house, her teacher's house, and the man that murdered her. He molested her and he put her in a garbage bag. He was going to be released in 2018. Josh called. He was not there for me at all. You want some help to find out what's going on, and he doesn't help. He don't care about the victims. I know Eric Toney does. Eric Toney helped keep that man that murdered my daughter from being released. Eric Toney's always been there for me, and that's the kind of attorney general we need.
Golden Cars is having a huge fall sale with 2019 Hyundai Ioniq Hybrid starting at $16,995 or $285 per month. Don't miss out on 2019 Hyundai Ioniq Hybrid starting at $16,995 or $285 per month. Golden Cars has over 20 to choose from between our east and west locations. Get huge gas savings with up to 60 miles per gallon. So just come on in and ask for me, Crystal the Pistol Gobin. Go to Golden Cars east or west.
You gotta go. WISC-TV.
So with a Planet Fitness Black Card, I'll get a post-workout glow like that guy?
Everybody knows that you need to glow, you need to glow, to glow, to grow.
And I get a free Amazon Halo to track my fitness and sleep.
Cause when you got the glow, there is no stopping what you want to do. Oh.
And I can bring a friend.
It's the way of life.
Okay, sign me up.
Get the PF Black Card for zero enrollment, $24.99 a month, and get a free Amazon Halo View. Ends November 15th. It's glow time.
Tim Michaels' company has been sued numerous times for sexual assault and harassment. Women said they were groped and pressured to have sex with their bosses. Those who spoke out were fired. Is that the kind of divisive radical you want as governor?
You're watching News 3 Now at 6.
A 4-year-old Sheboygan boy is being hailed a hero after calling 911 when he saw his mom was having a seizure. Taylor Lumpkin has the story.
Logan Moore is your typical 4-year-old boy. He loves his toys, his trucks, and most importantly, his family. Yeah. Now, this tiny but mighty 4-year-old is being called a hero for saving his mom's life.
By God's grace, he gave me and my husband a son that knew what to do.
Kayla Moore has been suffering from chronic seizures for more than a decade following a severe rollerblading accident. She says Logan is no stranger to her episodes and always does what he can to help.
As he got older, we're like, okay, when this happens to mommy, go get daddy.
Last month, while Kayla was getting Logan ready for school, she knew something was off. Her husband was at work. She sat down, called 911, and put the phone on speaker. Minutes later, she began to seize.
Sheboygan 911, what's the address of your emergency? Hello?
My mommy's having an episode.
This was the first time Kayla heard the 911 recording between the dispatcher and her son, who was able to let emergency officials know what was happening.
She's breaking her leg and her head.
Okay. Is she able to talk to me on the phone?
No.
Do you know if that's called a seizure?
Yeah.
Logan stayed on the phone until the paramedics arrived, and Kayla was able to get the help she needed.
Can't train a kid to do that.
Instinct.
It's just instinct.
Logan received a life-saving certificate and 2 medals from the Sheboygan County Sheriff's Office for his bravery, an honor fit for a hero.
He's my little Superman.
That he is. Great story. Let's now check back in with Julian. A complete look at your Election Day forecast, Julian.
Well, starting things off for the rest of this evening and for tonight, it's going to be a quiet one, but a chilly one, once again, for us here in southern Wisconsin, as we have a high-pressure system which is going to keep the majority of the upper Midwest rather dry, even though some snow is starting to develop for parts of Minnesota and northern Wisconsin. But as we get into the later part of tonight, we're just going to see some clouds start to clear out and then roll into our Tuesday. Outside of it, temperatures will fall to around 34 degrees in Madison and around 38 for Janesville, with 36 in Fort Platteville. And taking a look at tomorrow, this is how our Election Day forecast is going to be popping up for us. 53 degrees looks to be our high. We're looking at mostly cloudy skies. It will be pleasant, though, but of course, make sure that you do vote. Outside of it, though, as you're heading out the door, 7 o'clock is going to be in the 30s, and we're going to be holding into the lower 50s and 40s throughout the course of our Election Day. Now, take a look at high temperatures around southern Wisconsin. 55 for Janesville, about 54 for Platteville. So many of us are going to be into those middle 50s throughout the course of our Tuesday. Outside of it, let's go ahead and walk through our future casts as we're going to go in throughout the rest of tonight. Those easterly winds going to keep things rather chilly for us. And so once again, as you're heading out the door, it's still going to be rather chilly into the upper 30s. Not a lot of cloud cover until we get into around the lunchtime hour, where we're going to start to see a bit of those broken clouds start to build up for us and spread out. It's going to clear up around 5 o'clock, but then we're looking for it to build once again once we get into our Tuesday night, where areas just north of the Dells are going to be looking at some shower development. And then for us, well, we could start to see some isolated showers rolling their way in overnight into our early Wednesday morning. Some isolated areas could see a couple of showers, but it's not going to be anything that's going to be accumulating too much for us by the time we're heading out the door for our Wednesday. But take note, a shift in the winds and also temperature changes. Once we head out the door for Wednesday morning, it's already into the upper 50s and the lower 50s for many of us here in southern Wisconsin, which is going to lead the way for our afternoon. Temperatures into the 60s, a bit more breezier conditions by the time we hit in our lunchtime hour. And once you get into our evening, we're still into the 60-degree range. And folks, once we get into our Wednesday nights, those temperatures are not going to be dropping much at all, which is going to be potentially setting our record warm low as we head into the overnight hours, and going into our Thursday in itself, we're going to be looking at quite a mild day. So that's a bit of our mixed bag as we get in throughout the rest of this week, because Wednesday and Thursday are going to be back into mild temperatures before we start to see some colder air. But any precipitation we see was mainly going to be into the far northwest corridor. Outside of it, we're not looking at much to really accumulate for us, but we are going to be monitoring what happens at the back end of the work week. Thursday is going to be the warmest day for us. It's going to feel like late September, but then once we get into Friday, we're going to be seeing some real cold start to roll its way in for us by the time we get into our Friday nights, transitioning into the weekend. So any precipitation we see from Thursday night going into Friday morning could potentially bring in a couple of isolated showers or even some snowflakes for us here in southern Wisconsin. And as we get into the rest of the weekend, not looking for too much, but could see a couple of flurries in terms of precipitation for us going into the weekend. So this is our mixed bag for us. It's going to be sunny for today. Well, it was for today, but then as we get into the rest of the week, we're going to see those 70s rolling in and winter by the time we get into the weekend, and our temperatures are going to be reflecting that for us. By the time we get into Saturday and Sunday, we're going to be dropping into close to the freezing temperatures for us, and that's going to be maintaining those 30s, not just for the weekend, but even heading into next week. It's going to do it for weather, but Jordan, what's coming up in sports?
Actually, I'll take this first before Jordan. Nestle is recalling 3 batches of edible chocolate chip cookie dough tubs because they may contain some soft plastic film. The batches were produced from August 1st to August 3rd and distributed to retailers across the U.S. People who bought the product should return them for a replacement or a refund. You can find more information on the FDA's website.
Well, now coming up in sports, the next 3 weeks are crucial for Wisconsin football. Their next opponent is longtime rival Iowa. We're going to hear from the team for the Battle of the Bull coming up next.
News 3 Now First Warn Weather is brought to you by Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor.
Discover a shopping and design experience as comfortable as the furniture. Lazy Boy Home Furnishings and Decor. Schedule your free design consultation today.
Go farther with personal checking choices. At Starion Bank, you make the decisions. Your money, your style. Apply online in just 4 minutes at starionbank.com.
For Clinton Anderson, our community is his top priority. He's delivered for middle-class families on the Beloit City Council, and he'll keep fighting to lower costs for us in the Assembly. Jeff Klett's priorities are all wrong. He supports dismantling our public schools, wants to slash community services to give tax breaks to his billionaire backers, and he'll vote with extreme Republicans to enforce Wisconsin's abortion ban, which could send doctors to prison. We can't afford Jeff Klett.
These are the faces that smile so wide at the friends and staff who are by their side, where life is lived with a feeling of pride on every bump of life's great ride that comes from the care that sweetens the air that lives in the house that angels built. Attic Angel Community. Independent homes and 4 levels of assisted living built with the help of angels.
Happy Take and Bake Tuesday! Every Tuesday at Papa Murphy's, you can get any large pizza for just $10.99, which makes Tuesday the best day to bring home all your favorites.
We might have too many favorites.
Order now at papamurphys.com.
Breaking news in Dallas, Texas, where at least 5 police officers were killed when they were ambushed.
This was the deadliest day for U.S. law enforcement since 9/11.
Just days after this horrific crime, Mandela Barnes appeared on Vladimir Putin's propaganda news outlet and rationalized violence against American police officers.
Police officers are over-exercising their badges. This probably was a retaliatory attack.
Do you want Mandela Barnes representing you in the Senate?
I'm Ron Johnson, and I approve this message.
Go farther with personal checking choices at Starion Bank. Like Smart Checking, it's free when you choose e-statements. Your money, your style. Apply online in just 4 minutes at starionbank.com.
Tomorrow's Election Day, and if you haven't voted yet, we're here to help.
Our expert breaks down the races, and I'll be live with tips to ensure a smooth trip to the polls.
Plus, we're getting you out the door for your Election Day forecast and tracking a pattern change. It's tomorrow morning from 4:30 to 7.
As crazy as it sounds, Wisconsin could still win the West. Two things just need to happen. Number one, Illinois has to lose 2 of its next 3 games. And number 2, the Badgers have to win out, and the latter is what this group is focusing on. Because these final 3 are big games, and not just because they're the next ones on the schedule. UW closes the year with 3 straight trophy games, starting with a trip to Iowa City for the battle for the bowl.
You know, to me, rivalries are such a huge part of college football. It's always an exciting thing to be a part of, and we're going down to play Iowa, who's playing very well right now, and it's going to be a fun one. You know, I always love playing at their place, great atmosphere, and we know what they're about, they know what we're about, so it's going to be a really exciting day.
Kickoff in Iowa City is set for 2:30 on Saturday. And don't forget to tune into this week's Badger Blueprint. Zach and Jim Polzing will talk the big win over Maryland, plus the epic rivalry with the Hawkeyes. The Blueprint airs Wednesday night during News 3 Now at 10. Well, the Packers just can't catch a break. While suffering their 5th straight loss, the team had several players go down with injuries yesterday against the Lions, one of them being Rashawn Gary. Reports are saying that he did tear his ACL. Gary left the game early second half and was carted off to the locker room. The Packers have not officially released a statement on his injury, but Matt LaFleur did not sound hopeful of a return this season during his presser.
That's a tremendous loss, and not only just from obviously the production standpoint, just man, he is a guy that just competes at the highest level. He is one of the grittiest guys that's on this team, and just the effort that he brings on a daily basis is definitely going to be missed. And the other guys around on that defense and on our team are going to have to pick it up for him.
We're just 1 hour away until the season officially begins for both the Badger men's and women's basketball teams. The women are on the road taking on UW-Milwaukee, while the men are getting ready to host South Dakota. We're going to have highlights of both those games tonight at 10. And the Bucks still riding high. They will try to keep their historic start to the season alive as they begin a 3-game road trip tonight. The Deer take their 9-0 record to Atlanta. Tip-off with the Hawks is at 7:15, and we'll have highlights from that game also at 10.
All right, looks like basketball season now.
Yeah.
At least as far as the Packers go. Final check of the forecast, Julie.
Well, the good news is that we will start to see a bit of some warmer weather for us, even though it is just stuffing all kinds of seasons in 1 week. We're looking at some late type of fall weather for us, and even on top of it is some winter weather on the way as well. But we're going to be watching for potentials of some thunderstorms coming in from Thursdays. We're going to be seeing our potentially record high day for us this late into the season, and on top of it, we're going to be dropping temperatures rather quickly as we get into Friday, but potentially could see a couple of flurries in our forecast from Friday and Saturday, but then it's going to be cold for the next few days.
All right, Julian, thank you, and thanks for joining us for News 3 Now at 6.
Enjoy your evening, and we'll see you back here at 10.